Bro, I think he has to prove who is he.
Ooh, identity?
Yeah, identity. I'm starting big picture, y'all. Y'all remember Russell Wilson comes into the league, third round selection. He's not even supposed to start. Matt Flynn is supposed to start. Matt Flynn was making really good money. All of a sudden, Russell Wilson, the quarterback that was at NC State and then at Wisconsin, he shows up in Seattle. Humble guy. Humble means just wants to be a team first, win by any means necessary kind of dude.
Malcolm.
Then by around year 5, by around year 6, things started to change. They started to transition. Okay. He still wanted to win, that is Russell Wilson, but he didn't want to win by any means necessary. Now Russell Wilson wanted to win the Russell Wilson way.
Yeah.
He wanted to win through Russ. At first, let's just win however we got to win. Shout out to the 12. Shout out to the Seahawks. But then it turned into, I want to win how I want to win. I want to cook. I want it to go through me. I'm a top 3 quarterback in the league. Nobody is saying you are not Russell Wilson. So when I think about what does Russell Wilson have to prove? He has to prove that he is willing to win even at his own individual expense.
Damn.
So when Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl, the Seahawks were 13-3. That's the best record Russell Wilson's ever had.
Okay.
When Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl, he had the second fewest passing yards of his career. He had the second fewest passing attempts of his career. He had the third fewest passing touchdowns of his career. But collectively, the Seattle Seahawks enjoyed their greatest success of his career.
Yes.
So while Russell Wilson was not thriving individually, the collective unit was thriving. But now the collective unit is not thriving to the same degree that they were. However, Russell Wilson is thriving. Most touchdown passes of his career this past year in 40. Only time he's ever eclipsed the 40 touchdown mark. Russell Wilson throws for the most passing attempts of his career this past year. So Russell Wilson is individually doing his thing. But collectively, the Seahawks are faltering. So what does he have to prove, I think, to me, to the Seahawks fans, to himself, is that he's willing to win even if it cost him.
I love that. Poetic, eloquent, that's my co-host. And I agree with you. I'm not going to go identity as much as just based on what I've seen, individual and team performance, trying to really bridge those two together. I think that Russell Wilson is sitting there, if he's honest with himself in the mirror, he wants to prove a lot. And the first thing he wants to prove is that he can be the reason that they get a ring. He is the reason they get a ring. And look, I'm not going to take that away from him. I know that sounds selfish, but it's okay because Russell Wilson is still himself before he joins a team. It's the Kobe Bryant way. Kobe Bryant's like, look, I love to win. I want to win, but I also want to be the reason we win. So I'm not mad at that when I see that in Russell Wilson. But I am mad at this. The guy who had it good but wanted it better made it worse. Uh-oh. The guy who had it good but wanted it better made it worse.
Bar. God, that's a bar.
What is a bar? Hey, I've been there before. You just reach. My therapist talks about this. He said, Marcellus, one day we were in the middle of our session, and, you know, I'm paying a whole lot of money for these minutes. And I'm like, okay. He just paused. And I kept talking, and then he paused. And you know when you're in a Q&A or a therapy session, you're waiting for him to just take the baton, kind of like how we do. Like when you finish, when you give us that last, if I don't say anything, you're like, hey, bro, you didn't catch that cue? That was a social cue, homeboy. And I'm sitting there, and I did it twice to my therapist, and he didn't take it. The baton just dropped in the zone. I said, come on, man. And you know what he said? Marcellus, you won. And I was sitting there like, what? He said, you've won. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he started going through my life, not just in accomplishment, but just in aspirations and things that I desired and the things that I am setting out to do. He was like, Marcellus, you won. He's like, that next rung on that ladder, be careful, man, because you may fall down or not appreciate how high you are. And I think Russell Wilson got caught with a little bit of that. Russell Wilson is continuously trying to grab that next rung. And I guess in a figurative sense, we all are. But in a literal sense, he tried to go to that extent where it actually hindered the progress of the collective. So if you're the Seattle Seahawks who's watching Russell Wilson right now go through what you said, which may be an identity issue crisis, you're wondering where's your leadership going to come from. We know it's Russell Wilson, but in what direction? Is it for just Russell Wilson or is it for the Seattle Seahawks? See that social cue right there? Now you're going to speak, huh?
That's
your point.
Bruh, the guy who had it good but wanted it better made it worse. That's the bar of the week.
That's the bar of the week?
I don't care what you say the rest of the week. That's the bar of the week.
No Thursday, no Friday. I'm off.
Russell Wilson has to prove that he's a playoff performer.
Okay.
That's what he has to prove.
Say something.
With top 3 defenses, remember, Russell Wilson came into the league. Year 1, best defense in the league. Year 2, best defense in the league. Year 3, best defense in the league.
What?
Year 4, best defense in the league.
Damn.
Year 5, third best defense in the league.
Stop playing.
With those top 3 defenses, he started his career 8-4 in the playoffs. 8-4. Truly started his career 8-3 with those top 3 defenses, but lost with the number 3 defense in that second playoff game. So however you want to look at it, Russ started 8-3 or 8-4 in the playoffs. But now, with average defenses anywhere from 15 to 22 for the Seattle Seahawks, Russ is 1-3 in his last 4 playoff games. So I'm looking at you like, wait, Russ, of course you can win with a top 5 defense. Aaron Rodgers, the one time he had a top 5 defense, Super Bowl.
Boom.
Tom Brady, every time he has top 5 defenses, y'all look it up, he goes to Super Bowls whenever he has top 10 defenses. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. So if we're actually being really real, give any great quarterback a top 5 defense, and they typically give you a Super Bowl in return.
Oh, that's tough. Any quarterback?
Just about.
I know. I agree, but damn, though, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear.
The one that actually threw me off, bruh, Dan Marino had the number 3 overall defense one year, late 80s, I believe, with the Dolphins, and all he gave y'all was 1 playoff win. I was appalled. I was like, wait a second.
Okay, move on. No Marino blast.
I had to.
No Marino talk over here. That's negative.
But as of late, give any top flight quarterback a top flight defense, and they will return you a Super Bowl. Rush, you had 4 number 1 defenses with probably 3 Hall of Famers on your defense. Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, probably a bona fide 3 Hall of Famers on your defense for the first 4 or 5 years of your career. And all you returned was 1 Super Bowl. I say all because within the context of top 5 defenses and top tier quarterbacks, you usually get a greater return. So I'm looking at you now like, wait a second, Russ.
Wait a minute.
The tide has shifted. The seesaw has changed. You have more pressure on you than the defense did early on. What do you have to show for it? Because you're 1-3 in your last 4 playoff games. You're really rich defenses. You're 1-3 in your last 4 playoff games. You have to prove that you are really that kind of playoff performer, because I'll end it like this. Lamar Jackson struggles in the playoffs. We tear him apart.
Yeah, y'all do.
Dak Prescott, he struggles in the playoffs 1 and 2 if you want to define it as struggling, or he doesn't get to the playoff. We tear him apart. Deshaun Watson struggles in the playoffs. We tore him apart. Josh Allen prior to this season struggled in his playoff appearance. We tore him apart. But Russell Wilson 1-4 in his last 5 playoff appearances, and we're like, man, it can't be Russ. It can't be Russ. It's not Russ's fault. Russ, you got to show up, and we have to critique you in the same manner we do all the others.
Say it, man. That likability is covering for Russell Wilson. And early Russ wasn't like this. I love your bar. You kind of didn't focus on it, but let me just highlight a bar you had in there. The seesaw of the Seahawks. Russ was down here at first, and the Seahawks were up here. And then Russ said, nah, B, let me, oh. And then the Seahawks went that way. Very interesting to illustrate it in that way. But also, let's talk about what we saw illustrated to us. This conversation was spurred off of what? A workout video. Cam Newton style, you know what I mean? Is Russ biting Cam style? Last time I checked, Russell Wilson was a better quarterback than Cam Newton. Why are you trying to be like him? Interesting. I'm going to leave that alone. But a training day video with Wolves and DMX, rest in peace, songs in there ain't going to change a damn thing, Russ. With those second half collapses. Ain't gonna change a damn thing when you lose 4 out of your last 5 playoff games. So I love a workout video like the next man. And I love it at the end when they brand themselves. I love it all. But the ball's not in the air right now. No one blew the whistle. It ain't the moment of truth where it's like, yeah. It's not when the defense is saying, I dare you to go methodically up and down this field, but you still trying to be dangerous and throw the ball down the field where there is nothing for you. So I look at Russell Wilson right now, and it's crazy, man. Is he still looking in the mirror, or is he really looking at the camera, the Hollywood lights, and trying to make these videos to try and change his image? I want to change some of the performance of Russell Wilson more so than the image. But let's focus in on this video because I thought it was captivating. A video where Russell Wilson's a wolf now, right? Don't wolves like hunting packs? Yes, they do. And if you hunting in the pack, you know what? I need you. You need me. We need each other. We don't do the blame game. Oh, we can't be the lone wolf. The lone wolf going to sit there and struggle. The lone wolf ain't going to have nothing to eat. But Russell Wilson wants to blame the O-line. That's not what wolves do. Russell Wilson wants to go out there and blame the coaches, not letting them cook. That's not what Wolves do. Matter of fact, I don't even know if Russell Wilson even wanted to be a Wolf. Because last time I checked, he wanted to be a Bear. Chicago. Oh, last time I checked, he is a Seahawk. Oh, and last time I checked, it don't take no animal to go out there and get it done. Because there are pirates on land and sea, Buccaneers. Seahawks, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Looking for everybody. He talking about he a wolf? This ain't on no wolf. The way he is acting right now just seems like he wants to put perception before reality. The reality is, keep it low, Russ. Early Russ kept it low. This new Russ is blinded by those Hollywood lights, and I don't think he's seeing straight.
I think, Sal, you bring up a point, and you made me think. I love this show because you bring up things, and I lose my notes.
Same.
Bump the notes. We're going somewhere.
Ditto.
Russ, you got to prove how high your high is, sir. If we're being real, Russ, at your best, and a few other quarterbacks at their best, you're not as good. Now, I say a few other quarterbacks because let's go down the list.
Golden.
Josh Allen at his best thus far is better than Russell Wilson has ever been at his best.
Oh, you went there. And it's
Patrick
real.
Mahomes at his best thus far is better than Russell Wilson has ever been at his best.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson at his best thus far is better than Russell Wilson has ever been at his best. Cam Newton at his best thus far is better than Russell Wilson has ever been at his best. And you can say Tom Brady, and you can say Aaron Rodgers, and you can say a litany of other people. The NFL isn't just about being consistently good. But if you are consistently good, can you catch lightning for a moment? You saw that with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. Them cats ain't consistently good, but they caught lightning for a moment. That's why they have the same number of Super Bowl rings as Russell Wilson. So, Russ, we know how consistently good you are. You are, as far as consistency, probably the most consistent quarterback over the last decade in the National Football League. Probably Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Now that Drew Brees is retired, et cetera. You're probably the most consistent quarterback in the National Football League over the last 10 years. But how high is your high? We've seen vertical jump, y'all. When you're doing your vertical jump, they get the bar up there, and you got to stretch your shoulders.
What'd you vert? What was your vert?
35.5.
Damn.
And so they got to stretch the bar. You probably have it.
You know I got you.
Where were you?
I live up
38?
to the stereotype, damn it.
Where were you?
Black man can jump.
Where were you?
39 and a half.
Sheesh, no wonder you were in the second round. I see you.
Must have done a beat, bro.
So look, when you're testing your vertical jump, they put the bars up there, and they set them at a height, and they see how high can you touch. And what we know is this. Cam Newton has touched higher than Russell Wilson as far as individual performances. Lamar Jackson has touched higher than Russell Wilson as far as individual performances. Patrick Mahomes has touched higher than Russell Wilson. Josh Allen has touched higher than Russell Wilson as far as individual performances. So, Russ, you also have to prove just how high you can touch at your highest high. I don't just need touchdown passes, because touchdown passes, Russell Wilson this past season, came with your most interceptions. But talk to me about efficiency. Because even Carson Wentz, his MVP-ish season when he was 11-2 as a starter, he only had 33 touchdown passes. Russ, you had 40 this year. But Carson only had a 77 passer rate. Or Carson only had 7 interceptions, rather.
Seven.
Carson was top flight when it came to passer rating. So, Russ, it's not just about the gaudy statistics. Will you be the most efficient as you touch your highest height?
Golly, man. All right. First, I'm starting to feel bad because I'm saying a lot of real stuff, and sometimes real will slant you into negative because there's so many glowing things you could say about Russell Wilson, right? But I just don't like this version of Russell Wilson. And when I see him again, I'm going to tell him, not the biggest fan of this new you, but the old you I love. Now, you can still be the old you in persona and be the new you in terms of performance individually. But now let's merge those two and add one, which is make the collective, the team, start to feel all of the greatness you have in you. Now, Russell was sitting there like I used to feel. I used to be a victim in my mind. I used to blame everything around me. I'm blaming Crenshaw. I'm blaming Compton. I'm blaming my LA Unified School District. I blamed everything. Then I started to realize, wait a minute. Because I used to hear oh, she went to Harvard. Where'd she go to school, Crenshaw? Wait a minute, how'd she get through? And if she's an exception, maybe it's just because she's exceptional. So if you're exceptional, then there is nothing to hold you back. So I said, damn, the challenge is to be exceptional. Russell Wilson, are you exceptional or are you damn good? That's what you're sounding like you're saying. He's exceptional-ish, and that's not good enough in the NFL. So when I see a guy like Russell Wilson, and as I used to be this guy, looking to blame the O-line, blame the coach, want to say everything and then recreate his image so that makes us think different of him. We're not thinking higher of him. We're thinking lower of him until this all starts to materialize. So Danger Russ, the mouse, is who he used to be, right? And then early in his career, He was a vulture. You know why? Because that defense went out there and killed everything. And then guess what? That running game. And then here comes Russell Wilson with his Seahawks vulture ass. Swoop in, get one ring, and then swoop in, almost get a second ring, and bam! And that's where I want to land. Russell, nobody really blamed you for that second Super Bowl loss. It's just crazy to me, ironic, that now he's going to take the blame torch and try and light everyone else up with something they didn't light his ass up with. Why is he going to that place right now? Because if people have that memory, then they can start to look at why you're not exceptional.
Is Russell Wilson the most forgiven player in the National Football League?
Oh, that's facts.
Because you bring up, even just yesterday,
that's facts.
The producers are reminding me when we're talking about Edelman's Hall of Fame debate that Wes Welker cost the Patriots a ring against the Giants with a pivotal drop. I'm like, oh, wow, that's years ago.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, you literally threw a pick and cost your team the game. Like, literally. Like, it's not like any opinion. Was it a bad one? No. You literally cost your team. But you're right. We actually don't bring that factor up much at all.
Nope.
Russell, you're right. He might be the most likable and therefore the most forgiven player in the National Football League.
Yeah, I love Russ. I love him, but I'm not in like with this version of him. But hopefully it all can come together in the happy marriage between Russell getting what he wants and the Seahawks getting what they want.